So you can feel a little bit of excitement with people looking for things to do, including maybe Mayor John Tory, who joins us now for his weekly check-in. Usually we do Thursday, but of course we're off tomorrow. Good morning to you, Mayor Tory.
Hey, Mel, how you doing?
Doing all right. Are you excited? I know everyone's going to ask you about the hair today. How you feeling today?
No, I'm fine. I mean, I'm not doing anything about it. I had a call from, and I can't wait to see, in my case, Fernando and Lucy and Ben, who cut my hair for literally decades between them. And I can't wait to see them. But they called me to see if I wanted to come in. And I said, look, other people should have the first appointments, and I'll go maybe sometime next week because I haven't, frankly, decided what to do with it.
Okay.
So, but I know lots of people are very excited about that. And some of the places are open early and people are getting at it. And that's a positive thing for the city, too. People will feel better about the city if they can go get their nails done or get their hair done. And of course, all those people that have been off work for so long can get back to work.
Absolutely. I know Dina and Sid are going to talk to you about this in a little bit because it has something to do with loyalty. You named off some people here that you were sticking with, so Sid might have something to say about that. But yes, we'll talk about that in a moment. But for those who can't open up today, looking towards step 3, again, we've hit that threshold, that target, that mark with the province when it comes to vaccination rates. But still a lot of people left behind, including the tourism industry, which is massive in the city of Toronto.
Yeah.
And we heard a lot of stakeholders speaking out yesterday saying, we are struggling. We are just struggling. How are we going to be able to stay afloat, especially in the summertime when we are so backed up? What do you say to those employees and to those organizations now?
Well, I would say to them that I'm certainly trying to advocate on their behalf because what they really need at the moment is guidelines. It's quite evident they can probably open in stage 3, which is only scheduled to come, 3 weeks from now, and maybe sooner, because the medical officer of health said yesterday himself, the new one, that it would be a data-driven decision. So he left open the possibility if the numbers are good, things could happen earlier. But what they need is guidelines. So a theater company or a music venue, for example, a lot of these related to the hospitality and tourism business, need to know, well, how many people will they be able to have inside? Because you're not going to put on a music concert or put on a theater production if you can't sell enough tickets to pay for it. And so they need that now, and they need for the governments to speed up. It's principally the provincial government. They're working on it, but they need to come forward faster with those guidelines to get these things open. Same with the sports. The sports teams all have discussions they've had ongoing for some time with governments, and there's the border complication that comes in when it comes to the leagues that have international teams like baseball and even basketball and hockey, because they start up their new season even though the old one isn't finished yet, as early as September. So I just think that we've got to just speed up, delivering on these things. I know it's not simple because that industry is hurting. Of course, there's hotels, and restaurants. But I think we have to be cautious about it as well. You can't just rush forward and do it because, somebody says so. Dr. Moore, the new medical officer of health, is adopting the right approach, which is to use data. And we're very much, all of us, the Premier included, I spoke with him late last night about this, we're being guided by the advice of people like that so that we don't get caught where Britain is, for example, where the openings have been postponed by a month because of the Delta variant. That's what's gone on over there. You just don't want to repeat that.
Yeah, that makes sense. The biggest thing right now is vaccinations, and they are playing a huge role. First of all, congratulations to yourself, the city, the team, the volunteers, the staff, everyone who pulled off what they did at Scotiabank Arena. Is it official? Is it an official world record? I know that idea was floating around, and I don't know who needs to confirm that or not, but it might be.
I don't know. We didn't want to trivialize it by going to sort of literally to the Guinness Book of Records,
right.
But I understand it's a world record. That's what we're told. What's really important, though, is that we have driven the number of people in the city of Toronto that have received 2 doses up to 42%. That leads the country. It is actually getting up there in the global, rankings of that, and we're going to keep pushing it up. We haven't stopped. I mean, I have a note. We have 44 clinics today that are going on, and we're going to do some other larger events because that's the real key to getting things open again and fighting the Delta variant is more and more and more people getting first dose, because we still have 20+% that haven't, and more people getting second dose. And so, that's what I would urge people to do, even over Canada Day. I'll be out at 2 clinics tomorrow on Canada Day to show support for the staff that are working on that day when many other people are off, and to show support for the people who have come out. And if people can do that, that is going to make the biggest difference on getting open again faster, because that's the greatest weapon we have fighting this Delta variant, which is still a very real concern in Europe and here. I mean, here we have it at bay at the moment, and that's exactly where we want to keep it.
Mayor Tory, before you go for this portion, I know I asked you this last week about Canada Day and where the city stands and what celebrations or reflections will look like. Can you please just share again with our viewers what the city is doing?
Well, we're not having any official Canada Day celebrations this year. Now, in fairness, we had canceled those because of COVID, but we haven't sort of reinstated anything. And we think that what is appropriate is, I've been trying to be balanced about this, as I am on all things. I think it is a day to mark the freedoms and the blessings and the way we accept each other and our values in this country. And I think that is important to do that because we are blessed. But I think it is also a very important day on which to reflect, because there are times in our history, where we have fallen way short. And of course, what's happened, these discoveries of what's happened to Indigenous communities is a very good example, a tragic example of that, as are the most recent incidents of hatred and racism we've seen right here in our own city. So I think it is an appropriate day as well on which to reflect on how we can do better and be what we want to be and who we are, which is people who would never countenance the terrible injustices and tragedies that were inflicted upon our Indigenous communities, but also at the same time, the same with regard to how we treat each other in the 21st century. So we'll light the sign orange tomorrow out of respect, as is going to be the case with the CN Tower, but we're not having any Canada Day events. People will do their own thing, and I hope that includes, very much so, includes some recognition of some major times in which we've fallen way, way short and worse in our own history, but also that there are reasons to believe we have the right stuff to make it better.
All right, Mayor John Tory, as always, appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And now you go on over to Dina and Sid.